I made a TBR video that I've been working on for like 4 days, and somehow it disappeared. And I was supposed to upload it today. I was working on it last night. These are 7 books that are on my TBR for the month of May. There's actually 8. I'm currently reading the other one. This one. These are the books on my TBR. It is May 10th, 11th, 9th. I don't know what day it is. But this video was supposed to go up today. And now it probably won't because I'm having to refilm it. And frankly, I'm pissed. I'm pissed, one, because I put in hours of work into that other video. And because I'm now having to film this video while I'm bleaching my hair. I still look cute though. But that's so not the point. YouTubers put in countless hours making videos, and the last thing you want to do is lose one that you haven't even uploaded yet. Also, the other last thing that you want to do is make a video with a plastic cap on your head. That just says so much. Yet here I am, because I still want to get this video up today, or at least try. So I'm very quickly going to go through the books that I have. So I'm very quickly going to go through the books that I plan on reading for the month of May, even though we're pretty much a week and some change into the month of May now. And I probably should have had this video. Oh my God, that is the most beautiful red bird. Look at this, y'all. Let's see, it's hiding. Do you guys see it? It's so pretty. You can barely see it, but it's back there. I know you didn't come here for bird watching, but you guys, look at that. Let's see. Look how pretty that bird is. Wow. I know you can barely make it out, but the color is so vibrant. Oh, wait, there we go. But the color is so vibrant. Let's see. Okay, bird, like, fly away or do something so that the people can see you, because you're stunning. So I don't want my hair to fall out, so I'm going to finish the bleaching process. And while I finish the bleaching process, you can watch the video and you can see what I plan on reading for the remainder of May. I have already finished 1 book and I'm working on the second, and I'll probably crack open a third, but I'll explain all of that in the video. I can't believe this is happening to me again. So let's quickly go through these books, see if we can get them up, and we can move on to the next video. Okay, I'm going to dig through the pile here. The first book, I'm going to start with this one first because it's one that I've actually finished. I read it like the first 3 days of May. The English Understand Wool by Helen DeWitt. 69 pages. It looks like a golden book, you guys. It is so pretty to be just really like a cardboard book. There's a Wayne Thiebaud painting on the cover. And this book is all about like just living life in good taste. It was written in 2022. I think I said somewhere else in another video that it was 2014 or 16. I may not have even been talking about this book. You know, it's kind of like Cardi B at the Met Gala. When you're on the spot, sometimes you just forget what you're supposed to say. I do that a lot, so I can totally relate to her, especially because I'm not doing anything nearly as big as the Met Gala or a red carpet. I'm just sitting in one of my rooms in my house talking to you about books. But this book is 69 pages. It is such a good story. And don't be fooled. Just because it's 69 pages, it doesn't mean that it's going to be like a super easy read. Unless you're fluent in French, then you might fly through it. Or, you know, you can decipher people who are writing books in their own vernacular, if that makes sense. Because it doesn't just read like a standard book. The language is very languagey. I don't know another word for it. I'm sorry. But Suffice it to say, if you've read this book, then you know. If you haven't read the book, I highly suggest it. It's a short book. It's kind of a medium read. It's a book that's 69 pages, but reads like it's more. And I actually am probably going to go back through it and read it again because that's how much I liked it. I know I haven't told you anything about it, but that's kind of the point. It's a to be read video. So I recently watched a Cal Newport video, and the video was basically challenging people to read 5 books in a month. I can barely get through 2 most of the time. But part of that is because I read like bigger books. A lot of the times I am very ambitious when it comes to reading because I used to read so much growing up and in my teen years and even in my early 20s. And then I stopped for a long time and then started back again about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. And since I started back, I've never been able to read at the volume that I could before. One, because I'm older, because eyes don't work the way they used to, et cetera, et cetera. However, Cal Newport said one of the ways that you can read 5 books, at least 5 books in a month, and of course, here I have what, 8? But how you can read 5 books in a month is by reading a variety, reading more interesting books. And he had other tips as well, but that was the first tip, like more variety, more interesting books. And also how you read the books matter. So I started The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo a while ago, and I actually talked about it in books that I DNF'd, but then still want to read book. This is my copy of it that I got probably maybe the same year it was published. And I did start reading it. I like Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read Daisy Jones and the Six and One True Loves, and I like her writing style. And I'm pretty sure if I sat down and focused, I could fly through it. But for whatever reason, I started reading it and put it down. Well, one of the things he suggested was do audiobooks. And of course, I do audiobooks, so that's not weird or odd. But what made me want to do this one as an audiobook is the fact that one of my commenters on this channel suggested it. And I was like, you know what? I read Daisy Jones and the Six. I did a hybrid read. I had the book, but I also did Audible. And you know what? That worked out really great. And I feel like Taylor Jenkins Reid's books just lend themselves to audio. So this is my Audible book for the month. And I think that will help me actually finish the book one and read more books. Because sometimes I forget about Audible. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I don't think about it. Another book that I'm going to start, but probably won't finish this month, is Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity. I have been watching Ali forever. I just find it really fascinating that he went from being a doctor to a full-time YouTuber and now has different businesses and is a multimillionaire. I love it. I just love his story and I love watching him. He has a brand and he's very much stayed on brand, at least to me, for many years. So when he's talking, I kind of know what he's talking about and I listen and I learn a lot from him. And so he has finally written his book. It took him some years to do so. And I remember when he first started talking about it, and I do want to read it, but it's a nonfiction book and it's about productivity. And I know it's not one that I'm just probably going to sit down and read from cover to cover. I think the lessons in here need to be read and digested in doses. So this is one that I will probably read throughout the month. I may even be still reading it next month. So if I do a TBR video in June, this one will be on it. I have The Story of My Teeth, which I actually started in April. Again, I put it down, but as you can see, I've already started annotating it. This book is not about teeth. I mean, it is about teeth, but it's not about teeth, although there are illustrations of teeth in the book. Okay. I have my legend or my, oh my goodness, let's wade through all of the accolades. Here we go. I have my key here for, what I'm annotating and notes. And I did started an annotation. I think I'm going to like this book because for one, you have pages like this that have timelines, you have illustrations, you have photographs. I just need to get through the book. Can I tell you what this book is about? No, I have no clue. But teeth factor in here somewhere. And I suspect it's not really about that. I think I should talk about these three together. Dog Blood, Them or Us, Under the Influence. These two are part of a 3-part series, the Hater series. It's up there on my bookshelf. You could probably see it up there. Yeah, that was the first book. I kind of reviewed it. I have a short on it. It's on this channel if you want to see it. I really enjoyed that first book. This is the second one in the series. This is the third. It's an apocalyptic book. It's about some sort of virus or some sort of disease that affects people and turns them violent. It's a good read. I hated the main character. I hated most of the characters in the book. I loved the way the story was written, but I didn't like the way the characters were written. And the book being an apocalyptic book, it's pretty predictable. So a lot of the things about the book would make you DNF it. For me, it just made me buy the other two in the series. So I want to read Dog Blood. I've actually started it. I'm a little disappointed already because it doesn't follow the same format as the first book, which was what made the first book so readable, but the story's still enjoyable. And I haven't even skimmed through the third one yet because I don't want to spoil anything. I can hear my timer going off. Yikes. But I cannot read this book at night or before I'm going to bed because it will give me nightmares. It will make me have uneasy sleep. So that leads me to this book. This is my nighttime read while I'm reading this one, and I will read these in conjunction with each other. This is about an influencer and someone who goes to work for her. It's actually about the person who goes to work for her and how it almost ends up like a cult and there's a lot going on and it's all wonderful and beautiful. And she's making money and friends and she's, I guess, gaining some like credibility. And then it all comes crashing down. And I'm really interested because this is an of the moment book. It's about social media. It's very current. And with the way the social media is today, which is pretty annoying if you ask me, I think I will enjoy this read. So that is these three together. The last book that I'm planning on reading this month is Weird Black Girls. And I actually have already started this one. So even though it's last on this list, it is actually new and now. It's current. And it's 7 short stories. I picked this book up because I heard good things about it. But also, I am a weird black girl. Because who else films a TBR video while bleaching their hair? That's weird. It'll be even more weird if when I take this cap off, I have no hair. But can I think good thoughts? Weird Black Girls is 7 short stories, and a lot of them are, I guess, about being black. I'm assuming, and about being weird. They're about weird black girls. I don't know where the weird black girl is in the second story. That's the one that I'm on now. It's called Reunion. But the first story was about a weird black girl who grew up in the South. And there's a fantastical element to all of these stories, which is really cool. The fantastical element to the first story, because it's called Switching Tree, was about a tree that basically punishes kids. It's very arbitrary, and it's also pretty annoying, the way this tree just chooses to punish people. But it's set in like the South during, I'm wanting to say, the Jim Crow era, and or maybe even earlier than that, but I'm wanting to say the Jim Crow era. It's set in the South. I did read it. I probably will read it again because the way that this author writes, he writes like you would think an author would write, like metaphors, and the language is rich. The descriptions are rich. The way that he turns a phrase, it reminds me of Giovanni's Room a little bit. James Baldwin, Giovanni's Room, but much more current. The character in the first story, the main character, you can tell that she is telling a story as now that she's older, but she puts you right in the story because she's talking about a time when she was younger. But it is a fantastical story. There's magical elements to each story, but it's also set against, Black life, African American life, at least the first 2 stories are. I typically read very diversely, and so I don't read books because the author is Black or because the characters are Black or because it's about Black life. I have my feelings around that I will share with you in a video where I'm actually talking to you face to face. But I do love a good story about the Black American experience or a Black American experience because we don't all have the same experience. And I wish that more people understood that. But I totally related to the switching tree because I was a kid who was born in the 70s, two parents from the South, and I had to go get my switch off the tree a couple times. I'm not here to debate whether that's abusive or not. That was my childhood. It was what it was. And moving right along, we're talking about this particular book. I will say that I think the author acknowledges that going to get your own switch off of the tree is probably not the greatest thing you can do in parenting, but it also acknowledges that a lot of the rules that were had back in the day were about protection. And that is in this story. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful story. Second story, I'm halfway through. I don't know how I feel about it yet because I really don't know what's happening in the second story. But as soon as I finish all this hair bleaching and TBR filming, I will be cracking this back open again, or in editing this video too, so that I can get it up. But that's where we are with this book. And I actually am doing a reading vlog of this book, which now that I've talked about it here, maybe I'll start the reading vlog with the same footage. Who knows? But I really like this. I already recommend it just for the first story. And even the way the second story is written, the metaphors in it, and the fantastical element is very interesting. So highly recommend. So this is my TBR. I will let you guys know how I'm progressing. I have a 30 book goal for this year. I don't read as fast as I used to. Some months I don't read at all, but I think I am about 7 or 8 books in this year. So this number of books is more than I've read in the first 5 months of the year. I'm being very ambitious, but as we all know, TBRs in a lot of ways are kind of scammy because who really reads their whole TBR? Some people do because some people are just that disciplined. I am not. All right, you guys, I'm going to love you and leave you here, and I will see you in the next